And we are back for, I believe, episode 12. Should check that first. Yeah, let's have a quick look. I'm not actually sure what's next on the to-do list, so maybe the first thing to do is to go and make a bit of a to-do list. But in the last stream, we had a pretty short stream. We've kind of ticked off that first big hurdle, which is we've got our first thing actually drawing to the screen. So I guess if you've missed that one, maybe it's useful to go have a quick look. If I come in here and I just run the program, we now have the ability to draw something. There's still a lot to do. So just off the top of my head, what is there to do? We need to do introduce an index buffer. We need to enable blending so we can have sort of respect the alpha channel and have transparent bits in our sprites. And we would probably do well to get around to the resizing windows stuff sooner rather than later. Because currently we're fixing the size of this window so you can't drag it around. The reason for that is there's a bunch of stuff that we've sort of fixed to do with the screen size that obviously would then need updating. So I think they're kind of obvious next places to go before we move on to you know, things like trying to integrate this into a game loop and trying to add textures and shaders. So I think probably a sensible thing to do would be to take a second and sort of do a bit of organising. Let's go ahead and do a bit of boring work first though. So I think I'm probably getting to the point where I need to do a little bash script or something for this session startup. Because I do write the same little thing every time. Right, so we've got our CAC server, we've got our tmux session. And I think if I remember right, we did have a plan in the README. So that's cute, that's fun. So we can see how much progress we've made actually. We are all the way down here. So let's tidy that up. And I think there's a couple of things to add before we get onto adding textures. So what is it I said? I'd like to say add an index buffer and use index draw. I'm not actually sure how much difference this will make in practice. So the difference that this makes, I think I explained this briefly in the last stream, where our quad is made up of two triangles, right? There's a triangle here, and there's another triangle here. We're currently defining that with 6 vertices, which obviously works, but it's slightly inefficient because we're defining this point and this point twice. That has advantages, so I think if I go back to main, we can do things like make these colors just kind of whatever we want. So just for demonstration purposes, let's make them grey and white. I think this is the first thing I actually ran. So that's one advantage. They're completely separate things kind of logically from each other, so we can do whatever we want with them. However, in practice, we're going to be applying textures to these things, or we'll be drawing coloured blocks. And, you know, this corner is always going to be actually this corner, so it'll be repeated on both triangles, and our vertices will contain a number of sort of extra bits of data. So there's a position, there's a colour, we might end up with like a UV coordinate and a texture index, if I lay things out similarly to how I did in the Bracky platformer example, to tell it like which texture to use and what point on the texture it corresponds to. So I think you get slightly better, I guess, like cache behavior, memory usage if you use an index buffer as well. So this vertex is represented by a single vertex, and the triangles are defined by lists of numbers in an index buffer. It's not super complicated to do, so I think we will do it. So that can go in our list. Handle screen resizing, I think, is also well worth us doing. I said something else. What else did I say? Let me say add texture, image, and sampling, I think is an obvious one. Maybe we say that in here. Enable blending so we can have transparent bits on our sprites. I think they're kind of our next steps. I think we get to that point, we can start thinking about how this then plumbs into a game. And I think we'll start with handling screen resizing. So I don't honestly know how hard this is going to be. I don't know if you can tell from, I guess, my tone, my vibe. It's been a bit of a long and busy day, so I'm fairly tired. So if this is hard, we might do a bit of research and then bail. I did think I might do that just offline, but I don't know. I've been enjoying streaming and having the kind of like Dear Diary feeling to the videos. And if it turns out it's easy, I think I'd feel an idiot doing the reading to then be like, do I just implement it off stream or what do I do? So it's all going in the stream just for simplicity. So for handling screen resizing, I think there's a couple of points in this. One is that something in our draw frame, I can't remember exactly what, but I think we did spot it in the docs. It might even be draw. No, because draw doesn't return a... Okay. There's something in our draw frame call that can return a value that's not a VK success value. It's something like VK swap chain inadequate, which it will do if the screen has changed size, and so the swap chain images are not matching up to what it needs to efficiently apply images to the surface. And our current logic will just blow up at that point. So I think that'll surface pretty quickly. Trying to think what else there is. I can't remember. I know that, so the VK tutorial, the Vulkan tutorial, sort of handles screen resizing in that way. But then it goes on to say, well, you can't actually trust drivers to always report this, or to report it correctly. So they then, on top of that, use GLFW to detect screen resizing and handle it. Which seems slightly silly to me. So I think what we might do is use GLFW explicitly and rely on GLFW reporting when the screen size changes to trigger things, and have the basically update our draw frame to just not break when it doesn't get a successful draw, whether that means returning out early or just no opping, or I don't know. I guess those two phrases mean the same thing. So where do we start with that? I guess we need to Google how we find if the screen size changed in GLFW, and then I think we're going to have to basically wrap everything that affects the or everything that's affected by the screen size into a function that we can call easily. So in our init function, we will do this and we'll grab everything, and then we'll have to have like a re-init function or a handle screen size function or something that will call that again. Alright, so let's start with a bit of GLFW Googling. Let's push to another place. We can make that big. So, GLFW screen resize. Let's have a look. resizing, how to draw while resizing GLFW window from 7 years ago. I'd kind of like some actual docs. Window handling. And you can set the size, that's kind of interesting. Handles, creation, destruction. Frame buffer size. Window size. You have set and get. If you wish to be notified when a window is resized, whether by the user or system, you can set the size callback with this. That's what we want. So, set window size callback. Where do we do our GFW stuff? We haven't touched it in quite a while. I'm guessing it's all in main. Yeah. So GFW init. We must do something where we set the like other callbacks. Create Vulkan surface. There's our main. Where do we use this error callback? That's a good question. Yeah, we do it right early. Okay, so this is one of those things we learned. The error callback can be set before you init. Everything else can't. So in here, let's do set window. Oh, was it called window change? Size. Set window size callback. To window size callback, and we can bung it right down at the bottom. To window size callback will be a C procedure. We'll have to look up what it takes. We'll have to do this same song and dance to grab a context. And for now, we'll just print format print line. What do we print? Window resized. Right. Angry because it is missing something. What's the problem? Window size proc is missing. Cannot assign that to that. What's your type? Set window size. Okay, we need a window handle and a window size proc. Which makes sense because we have to set it on a window. And you, sir, take this. So let's copy that. Right. Okay, so you're going to need to be moved is one immediate consequence. And we need to put that. So let me just put a to-do move so we don't forget. Okay, let's go. Oh no, there. So you are a procedure that takes in a window, which is a glfw.window handle, and a width. I'm hoping I can just pass through as I32s. I think that should work. Yes. And then we'll jump back to here, and at this point we've got our global context window, so I made it global, but it doesn't exist yet, so we have a null pointer and that would be a problem. So we're in here, let's set that like so. Let's run, check it all compiles. It compiles. And now here's the point. We set this to true, and this should crash. But I think it should also print. It didn't crash. That's interesting. Okay, so if I resize it, it crashes. And like we say, it crashes at failed to present image because we've told it if it gets anything other than success to blow up. And in this case, it should get something other than success. Cool. I might do a quick commit just because. Okay, let's commit that first. So, update to dos. We've got some to dones. And that I will commit just so we can get back to this point easily. So, work in progress. Toward window resizing. All righty. So maybe the move now is to go and make that crash, not crash. So it just failed to present image. And maybe we pop up ocular real quick. And go have a look and see what Q present KHR has to say. Q present KHR. All the way down here. Result codes are error out of date and suboptimal. They have the same meaning when returned by this as they do when returned by that. That was what I was trying to remember. So there's 2 points where that can happen. If any swap chain member of present info was created with full screen exclusive, that if it's lost, full screen exclusive. If the device is lost, we get that. Surface lost, error out of date. Oh, sorry. Oh. If any of the presents would have a result of VK suboptimal KHR, if issued separately, then this is returned. Otherwise that. Okay. So I think the thing to do is this can't be that simple now. Do we switch? Odin must have a good switch statement, mustn't it? Let's go have a look. Assuming, there we go, switch statement. So yeah, it's switch. Okay, so this is the neat little thing where you can give it a name. So let's say in here we would like to switch on res. We say case. Dot success, I guess. We will. Do you break out of a switch? A break statement is not needed at the end of each case. We have a fall through instead. Okay, so we don't need to break. Aside from that, I wonder if it can be empty though. Okay, so if we instead have an error out of date or a suboptimal KHR, I'm hoping I can just have multiple like that. If we have that, we will format print line res to say Q present error. And it's not happy with that because it's got unhandled cases, which is fine because we would like to then add a default. How do you default? Switch case case. Is it going to be default or else or something like that? Oh, let's keep you inside of that. In that case, we panic with fail to present image. Not default. Else? It's not else. Case default? Is it just case, maybe? So partial switch. I don't want a partial switch. I would like to have a default. So switch statements that are like that. Partial switches with unions. The first statement, then we're on to other stuff. Yeah, case blank. Does that not do what I want? I thought I tried that and it didn't. Oops, pressing the wrong buttons. Yeah, case blank. Oh, annoying. I also shut the thing. There we go. Let's close that one. Switch on F. Case blank. I mean, is it the multiple cases that I've got wrong? It looks like that is allowed. Right, case that, case that, case that. Because there's no fall through, so that makes sense that it has to have like syntactic support, because you can't just put all the cases together. Baffling. Will it run? Odin run main? No. Switch res. Okay. Maybe we ignore the switch then, because I don't know why that's not working. So it's not that we want. Have I got my brackets wrong? Switch res. Switch res brackets. Case, colon. Is that the problem? It's just not happy with this. Let's print in every case. There's a format print line, success. No, that's not a problem. I thought there was something. Yeah, so that clearly isn't it. Ugh, feeling like an idiot. Pain. Okay, we're going to do it with ifs because I can't work that out. I'm just too tired today. Let's not delete it all though. So let's have if res is success, we'll print that. Else if all of this, we'll print that. Else. Oh, okay. Else if res equals that. Or res equals that. Let's just check this is behaving like we think it should. So lots of successes, and then we change the size. And it fails because it fails before that point, because that's not the only thing that can fail. So was it? It's saying also on acquire down here somewhere. We do the acquire, and then that's the error we're seeing, is it? Yeah. I wonder if we run that a couple times, then if we can get different failures. Fail to get the next thing, or at least get it to like actually print our thing. No, it's not looking at it, is it? Oh yeah, it did. There we go. Q present error suboptimal KHR. So depending on like exactly when in this function call we do the change, that happens. So we need similar logic here. So if realizing now having an explicit check for success is stupid. So let's instead say explicitly if it's one of these two, we have to have special handling. Else if res is not equal to success. There we go. Because they're the actual cases we care about. And then similarly, we jump back to our acquired stuff. And we'll have in here, if image acquired. Oh, is it the fence? It's not the fence, is it? It is. Am I being stupid? Acquire next image. It's this res. So this can fail for reasons that aren't actual failures. And so we'll say in here, if res is equal to out of date, or res is equal to dot, oh my god, I've forgotten already, suboptimal. Then we'll have it format print line with a res non-success on acquire. So if we run that, cool. So window size thing, queue, present error, window resized, non-success on acquire. And then, oh, we still get the failed to get the swap chain image. What's that about then? Oh yeah, we need an else. There we go. So we run that, and we can see it gets angry with us, as it should, because we're messing with it. Oh, I forgot where I am now. There we go. Right. Progress. So the screen has resized. We can now detect that, and we don't break. So I'm going to put in another little checkpoint. Say, don't panic on screen resize. Still needs handling. Okay. So what does that handling actually look like? I think it looks like grabbing some of these things out into functions we can reuse. So let's pop them down at the bottom. And I think one of these is going to be create swap chain. It'll probably have to take in a renderer, I guess, because we're going to be setting a load of state. So let's have a renderer. No, a pointer to a renderer. We'll see if anything else needs to go in there. So it's not to get its next swap chain image. Okay. Before we do that, we've got the ability to call a callback when the screen size has changed. We haven't actually done anything to like make that available to our renderer. My plan, for now at least, is just stick that in global state. So we've got a load of global state up here. Let's have a window resized bool. So that will be false when we make our thing initially. And when we call our, it's not the error callback I'm interested in, it's that callback. Sorry, it's that callback. Instead of printing window resized, we will set global context dot window resized to true. I'm going to keep a print line in here, but it's just going to have in it that value. Can we check that works? So let's clear the noise. Oh, okay, it's very noisy. Let's get rid of our other prints in here. So renderer. Let's do a search for, I guess, suboptimal. And we'll just comment that out, and we will comment that out. So window resize is true because it's tiling window manager. As soon as the window opens, it gets resized. Yeah, we can see we're detecting each of these changes as they come through, so that's good news. Right. Yeah, so let's say store window resized in global context. Oopsie daisy. I know I'm being possibly excessive with the commits, but I don't know. I think it's one of those know yourself, and I know I am sleepy and making silly mistakes. I'd like to be able to just like return back to an earlier state that I care to get back to if we have a mess up. Okay. So the things that we're going to need to do, I think we're going to need to be able to recreate our swap chain. So let's go and find where we create our swap chain. And if I've done a good job of this, we should be able to just grab from there. Whoopsie daisy. Can I get better at Cocoon? Grab all the lines. We might take this line with us. And then I think we should be able to just paste and remove these. And that should work for us. Let me just clean this up a little bit. Oopsie daisy. And then if I jump back up to up here, instead of doing that, we can call create swap chain with our renderer. Check it runs the same way. Happy as Larry. Cool. I think that's the first time we've done that, but that was kind of the point I think I was trying to make. Well, I've been, I guess, justify to myself why I do this. I still think, particularly while piecing something together, it's useful to be able to just read down it and see in order all the lines that you're going to be doing. And by having them scoped like this, actually pulling stuff out into these functions is not hard. So does this end up setting our extent? Renderer.surface extent is equal to surface capabilities.current extent. So it is. Nice. And that's inside this big function, yeah. So when we create the swap chain, we update the surface extent. I think we're going to need another one of these, though, for the point where we make our swap chain images, because they presumably make use of that extent. Oh, do they not? Make swap chain images. Renderer swap chain. Get swap chain images. Get swap chain images KHR. Make swap chain image views. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it doesn't directly refer to that size. I'm guessing we still need to call it, right? Because presumably our swap chain images must like get swapped out by the operating system, right? Because the thing is a different size now. So my guess is up here we're going to want to have create swap chain images on renderer and create swap chain image views on the renderer. So they all error for now, but that's fine. We're going to take that, we're going to take that, we're going to take all of the lines with us, and we will hopefully be able to do this quite slickly. So we have make swap chain images is a procedure. It doesn't need to be a C procedure, it is going to need to take a renderer pointer to a renderer so we can update our state, and then from here we can grab to the end of the line, and we can't do that because there's errors, so user take to the end of the line And we'll have make swap chain image views, because the images will be updated, so we need to have new views over them, I would guess. A little bit of flying by the seat of our pants here, but I think this is all needed. So we pop that in there. I think we forgot nothing. That looks like it should work to me. Create swap chain images is not defined. Create swap chain. Create swap chain images. Because I use create instead of make. Create swap chain images and create swap chain views. And there's no errors. We try to run it. Nice. Very nice. We are leaking memory though, right? Because I think these things are allocating out memory that we're not freeing. And I think, in fact, I wonder if this has an impact on our thing we're rendering. Yeah, because you can see it doesn't update properly. I think part of that is our... Oh my god, what would it be called? I think we're baking in our viewport and scissor on our graphics pipeline. So these things can be dynamic state, in which case we can update them on our draw frame somewhere. So in here, when we're doing all of this in our command, there will be a command in here that will be like set viewport or set scissor. Do we want to do that, or do we want to just recall our create graphics pipeline? That's probably less reworking, but it also feels like it's probably worse. I'm not sure. I think we'll do the thing that feels like less work for now. Let me just stick a to do on here, so it's not on there. Yeah, I'll stick it on there just so I remember to think about it though. So I guess like pull out destroy function for stuff that depends on screen size. Because again, I think I'm trying to just keep our memory use tidy. What we're doing is sufficiently simple. I think it's not that onerous to keep it tidy, and I think if we keep it tidy, we might be able to do cool things later for less pain. So yeah, maybe we're over-optimizing for that too early, but who cares? Right, so in here is where I think we set our viewport. There we go, viewport state create. And that's all being baked into our graphics pipeline. So I think the lowest effort solution here is we just recall create graphics pipeline on a screen resize. And we just call all that code again. Like I say, I don't know that that's actually a good choice, but it's the quicker way to get to where we want to be, I think. Let me just grab another line. So let's bang that in for now. You are create graphics pipeline. You're a procedure that takes a renderer, which is a pointer to a renderer, and tidy it. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that needs redoing now on each screen size change. I don't think any of it's expensive, so hopefully that's not actually that bad. Maybe that's actually terrible. Let's just see if it worked. Okay, so it didn't blow up. It also very clearly didn't work. Okay. I thought that would be the point where the stuff would actually like start updating when we change the screen size. Is there anything obvious to go and look at? we aren't actually doing anything to handle changing screen size yet, am I? Yeah, I told you I was tired. Right, so the reason that's not doing anything yet is because we haven't told it to do anything different when that global state gets updated. So what we need to do is we need to have something probably toward the start of our draw frame that says if we know that the screen size has changed, first recreate the graphics pipeline. And if we do that, where are we going to put this? Alright, let's go bang down to the bottom, and we're going to say in here, handle screen resized. It will, yet again, take in a renderer, point it to renderer, and when we want to handle screen resized, what we do is we create, I guess as a to-do, clean up memory. We can have a create swap chain. Oh, do we create a swap chain? I don't think we create a swap chain. I think we just go create swap chain images for oh my goodness. Let's grab you. Renderer. We then create swap chain image views for the renderer. We will create graphics pipeline for the renderer. And then I think the thing we want to do is we're going to say inside of draw frame, we're going to say if our global context dot window has resized, then handle screen resized with a renderer. How about that? Call it. No, didn't work. Damn it. Okay, so now we have some debugging to do. Did I call anything else in here that we would want to update? Color attachment. Oh, memory transitions. Where do I call that create swap chain stuff? Up there. Do I need to recreate the swap chain? Get supported present mode. It's inside of here that we're setting. We set the format in here, we set the surface extent in there. So yeah, I think actually our handle thing needs to recreate swap chain. Otherwise, currently we're not actually catching the fact that the extent changed. Lots of angry messages. Oh, it's super broken. Yeah, that was not the one. Okay, what are our angry messages? Oh dear. Oh dear. We have made a mess. Yeah, Alacrity's like frozen now. Oh no. How do I force kill it? Can I go in here? It's not showing up in there. Is there like a PS show all? I thought PS just did show all. Hey? PS. Is that like PS list? Unknown GNU long option. Am I stupid? I thought PS was just like the show me everything. Show me all my processes. Okay, so that one's working. It's just that one that's blocked up. Can I like interact with it in any way? No. Okay. Should we shuffle off to another space and just ignore it for now? Oh, is it that the Tmux session's dead? That's an interesting thought. If I go, oh my god, what do I call the thing? I call Flectris. We come into there. Can I close it? Okay, so it's not to do with the Tmux session being broken in some way. Don't know. But we can see our error now. So what's your problem? Signal being used, may still be in use by the swap chain. We need to destroy the swap chain. Those should go away, I think. That's interesting, though. So I guess that the semaphores end up never actually signaling. So I don't know if there's a way for us to reset them really simply. Okay, so if the screen resizes, we recreate all of those things. Oh, that's a point. When we're doing our... Oh, maybe that's not a good way to go. There we go. If we're in here, so at this point, we've missed that the screen is resized, right? That's a point. So we come into draw frame. Either we've missed the screen resize, so we've gotten past this point and then the screen is resized and we're in a bad state, or actually it's fully possible our handle screen resized isn't putting us back in a good state, so we're still broken. In either of those cases, I think what we actually want to do here is just early return. Although I might still put in a format print line, acquire image early return, just because otherwise I'm going to miss. It's not going to be clear. It's going to look like it's just hanging, right? When actually we know exactly what's happening. Let's go find the other one. So I'm going to have you also early return, and you will also format print line. This one is Q present early return. I think we're going to see them spam. No, of course. We've got another one of those. No. Okay, so it still is broken. Oh no. Is he going to break Alacrity every time I do this? Because I can't close it. Oh no. I'm going to run out of places to run to. Okay, let's try and work out how to fix that then. I want to say Linux list all processes. I thought PS did it. Using PS. Let's ask a 10-year-old Stack Overflow. All the best advice comes from 10-year-old Stack Overflows. It's just to sanity check, if I go in here IPS, I don't see anything that's like Alacrity is running on this process. PSEF does show everything. I wonder what those are. What does just E give us? EF? What did just E give us? PID. This just gives us more information. Okay. Can I say, give me that, and just give me the stuff that says Alacrity in it? Cool. Do I just start killing them? Is that how I do it? PS kill? No, it was kill, wasn't it? Kill. Kill. That's 3534. 15088. And I think this one should be the one that's currently live. There we go. And if I jump back, they are all gone. Nice. And because it's Tmux, I can still get back in. Cool. Okay. And if I come back in here and I try to run and I close immediately, it doesn't break everything. Oh, that's interesting. Because a resize does happen, right? Ah, and that one does break it. But it doesn't break alacrity because I didn't make it. Okay, so I think it's only if I move alacrity around. I guess I put the whole X server into a bad state or something. Okay. Okay. So what are you saying then? Signal semaphores are causing trouble. Maybe I just recreate the signal semaphores when I recreate the images, because I have this kind of one-to-one relationship between them, right? So if I go back to wherever it be, create synchronization objects. Ah, okay, that's interesting. I've done them all in a lump, and maybe that was a mistake. Because... Why because? We're reusing them across things, so what is it actually saying? It's... What is it saying? Am I just too stupid for this? Where's that green bit? That'll be the top. There we go. So, signal semaphore, submit, signal semaphore on the submit is being signaled by that, but it may still be in use by that one. So I think the move is we destroy the semaphores and recreate them when we recreate all of our images, because waiting on the other set of images is never going to get completed. Right. I'm going to go have a quick look at the... What should we look at? I might go look and see if my Brachy's example... recreated the swap chain. Or at least if it did it all as explicitly as what I'm doing. So let me go and make a new Brachy. And we'll go cac into there. Let me say out of date, out of date. It called recreate swap chain. Ah, interesting. We're not calling that, and we're not calling that. Set up a new swap chain, set up new frame buffer. So the frame buffer stuff we don't have to worry about because we're using dynamic rendering. But yeah, it is calling all of this stuff again and recreate the swap chain. I wonder why we have to do a separate glfw frame buffer call. Or if we actually have to. Okay, but to answer my question, it does recreate the actual swap chain, and that means it must be making new image views and everything, right? If I come in here, image, view, for as many frames in flight, makes image views. Ah, texture image views. That's different than what I'm talking about. Where's all our swap chain stuff in here? I've missed, haven't I? What was it called? Handle. My God, am I just stupid today? Recreate swap chain. Which we'll call set up new swap chain, which sets the extent, creates the swap chain, gets the images and creates image views. Yeah. So it's doing the same thing I thought we needed to do. Right. Is that useful information? So maybe we need to add that VK device weight. Because that's the first thing that jumps out that we're not doing that the Brachy example was doing. So I think VK device weight, I don't know if we have it anywhere else. What does VK device weight say? I think VK device weight basically says I want the host to block until all current running work on the GPU finishes. And device weight idle. Does it take any arguments? Takes a device, returns a result. So let's just have a wait res, a renderer device, and if wait res not equal to success, panic failed to wait for idle. Ah, failed to create swap chain. Interesting. Interesting. Oops, it failed to create swap chain. Is this that frame buffer size stuff we saw then that you need to do in here? Or is it upset because we've got a swap chain already? Is this something where like you can only have one? I think I remember this. I think you can only have one swap chain per surface. So we're failing to create a swap chain because we've not destroyed the previous swap chain. Right. So let's move that to do to done. I think we might just do this really stupid for the sake of simplicity. So the calls we want to make are not just going to be standalone, it's going to be VK, destroy, swap chain, which will take a device, it will take a renderer dot swap chain, and nil. Doesn't take that. What is your thing? Device, swap chain, allocator. That is what we're doing. We don't just have device, we have to have renderer dot device. And we need to be able to type. There we go. Before we do that, we're going to need to VK destroy swap chain. No, just destroy image. Yes, destroy image. And VK destroy image view. We're going to have this in a loop. So we're going to say for I in naught up to less than the length of render a swap chain images. We will do this that many times, where this takes our renderer device, it will take renderer dot swap chain image I and nil, and it will take renderer dot device typing renderer swap chain image views and nil, and typing is hard. Destroy every time. Destroy image view. We should probably destroy our graphics pipeline while we're at it then, if that's what we're going to do for this. So VK destroy. Is there a destroy graphics pipeline? No. Is there just a destroy pipeline? There is a destroy pipeline. Let's see then. So you are going to take in our renderer device, renderer dot graphics pipeline, and nil. Should we try that? No. Double free or corruption. because they're swap chain images, they don't need to be freed. Fun. Okay. So they can go. We do need to destroy our image views. Hey, that looks good. Excellent. There is something we're forgetting though, which is... So I think create swap chain images and image views. I think these will allocate memory. Is that true? Create swap chain images says get swap chain images, and then yeah, see there we're allocating memory. So that if this is maybe this is an Odin-ism that won't be familiar. Instead of malloc and free, we have make and destroy, I think, or it might be delete. So even though we don't need to call that destroy, we do need to still free that memory or we will be leaking it. So let's go ahead and say delete. Renderer dot swap chain. Every time swap chain image views, and we'll delete renderer swap chain images, which will be a very temporary thing because then down here we reallocate that memory. It might be nicer to do that allocation once and just replace them, particularly since this is happening in our drawing logic, right? This is something that will impact on our frame rate, although only as you're changing screen size. So I guess a bit of choppiness while you change screen size isn't the end of the world. And this is just simpler because we can do the same thing we're doing on startup. Interesting. Okay, we fucked something up. Okay, so if I come in here and I do that, so that works. And if I do, is it I think Windows, and I can drag that. Oh, interesting, that didn't work. Oh no, we've broken it. Oh, we've very broken it. Okay, there we go. Acquire image early returned. Okay, it's not quite working. Alright, so there, it gets the resize. If I now drag that, so it does pick up that it's resized. Do you know something I've not done? Is I think... Okay, let me just think of to-do to think about this. Where would I be looking? In handle screen resized. We need to set that global context window resized to false because it's been handled. No. Queue present early return and acquire image early return. I mean that is the expected behavior, right? So we're saying if the swap chain's in a bad state, then we should bail out of this render. So what did work? That worked last time. It's not working now. Interesting. Yeah, and it's clearly it's blocking somewhere because it's not handling the exit event. At what point was it working then? It looked like it was working at one point. Should we do some undoing? Get back to... Oh, what point was it? So that point was broken. It was before I added all the destroys, was it? I don't know, I've got a feeling it was further along than that. If I get to there... What did that give us? If I Odin run main here, that blows up Couldn't find image. Oh, yeah. We can't do that. That's naughty. Don't do it. So that looks like it works. And if I come in here, I can do that dragging. And if I do this dragging, it breaks. But it might be breaking because we never set it back to false, so we never actually do another render. Right? So we've got the early returns. We end up just never actually re-rendering. Could that be true? Alright, let's say if we do that, we should set that back to false, and let's put in a print line just so we can say resize handled. So we know we got into this logic. So there we go, resize handled, resize handled. So it worked better before we did that. How strange. And now we're stuck. So we're up here, handle, screen, resized. Oops, so we jump up to here. So it's at the start of draw frame. If we do that, we say handle screen resized. Can we at this point then say print line expect, I guess all true. What do we have? We expect window resized. We expect that to actually be false. So, is that the only thing? It's the only thing I can think of at the minute. So if we do that, expect all true, true. We change the size. Resize handled. I'm losing track though of actually how many of those are showing up. So let's, instead of jumping it around, let's pull that up. And quiet image early return, and then it's just fucked. Yeah. So okay, so acquire image early return. So if we're inside of this and we early return, presumably that kicks us out of draw frame, doesn't it? So we skip all of this drawing stuff, and we should land outside of draw frame. But we don't. Okay, I think I'm struggling to think. I think, at least in part, could need a wee. So I will run away, and I'll be right back. So, be with you in 2 seconds. Okay, and I'm back. Will this be any easier? So what are we actually seeing? We're seeing that those early returns, they look like they just put us into a like forever broken state. And I don't see how that's even possible, right? So we're in here. At this point we should just be going round and round, right? So let's have a format before draw and a format print line after draw. Let me put a count in as well so I can see that happening over time. So let's have int. That's not how you types in Odin. I is. That took an embarrassing amount of thinking. I is equal to 0, and then we're going to say in here before draw. Give me I after draw. for I, and then I plus equals 1. I didn't run main. Yeah, you can see it just stops. Alright, we've cocked something up. Are we seeing the after draw? So we see before draw, resize handled, expect all true, true. We're in here. Expect all true, true. Am I being stupid? So we're in here, we get true before draw, resize handled. Where is this expect all true? Is the end of the resize handling. What if you early return? Is it just that we're in a weird state there then? So we go drag. After draw, before draw, and then we're just stuck. Oh, hang on, no. Okay, no, it did break. Yeah, because we're no longer pumping out frames. Interesting. Something is screwed. I wonder if it's us tearing down the graphics pipelines. Maybe that is a really stupid way to go about doing this. Why am I tearing down my graphics pipeline? It's because it's got the viewport in it. Right? And that gets used somewhere in here. Have I gotten past it already? Is it on there? Yeah. So it has the viewport state there. And that viewport state has a viewport, and that viewport requires the surface extent, which is set inside of our create swap chain method. If I go to here and I just look for the word extent, I guess. Yeah. And then we go on to create a swap chain. So that doesn't seem like a crazy thing to be doing. At least, not to me. Do we call destroy pipeline anywhere else? We do not. What happens if I just leave pipelines hanging around? Yeah. Still, it just freezes. So... God, I bet I'm missing something really dumb here, aren't I? I'm starting to get to the point where I think I might need to grab a debugger and like step through this more carefully. I think that might be beyond me tonight. Oh, that's sad. Why do all these streams end so sad? We'll clear you. So we do our run. Drag this. Okay, so the first point in here, it's on 6373. Q present early returns. 6374 acquire image early returns. It's only then that the GLFW thing fires. 6375 does a resize handled. 6376 does a resize handled. Before draw 6377, we then just stick. So it must be one of our weights that we're hanging on, right? Or at least it sounds like it. So one thought I have is maybe instead of early returning on those, can we do a handle screen resized in here? That's already a pointer. if we jump to the other one, can we handle screen resized renderer on there as well? So we've got that, that's fizzing along. No, so that's not done it. So resize handled, require image early return. After draw 7062, then the GLFW thing triggers. Yeah, so that's slightly painful, right? Because when we end up hitting it twice. This is why I was thinking it might make sense to rely just on the GLFW thing. So I think we undo that. That feels like it's making more of a mess, not less. Put that back in. Right. Should we run it on a debugger and see what line it's getting stuck on? My workspace is a bit of a mess at the minute though, so let's do a bit of tidying up. Just delete everything. Now we would like to go, we'll try GF2, CD into mine/Flectris, boop, and this will be main.bin, which probably we need to go and do a build, main debug, click start, get all the stuff up, mine, Flectris, oops, not main bin, main in the renderer, and I think we're going to go and look in here at handle screen resized. So we start running, and we hit it immediately because the tiling window manager will immediately try to do that. If I continue, we crash. Nice. Program no longer exists. Panic create instance failed. Okay. Can I disable you? Then run it. Why are we still getting trapped? Oh my god, this is just beyond fucked at the minute, isn't it? Run. So you now blocked as well. Oh no, you can't type in there, that's why. What's all this saying? Could not find GNU debug alt link file for this thing. Okay, so there's a bunch of the Vulkan stuff that it's not happy with. Error layer not present. Ugh. Do I not have a validation layer stuff set up for a debug build? That seems really surprising if that's the case. I'm sure I've done debug builds already. Well, if I don't debug build it, I won't be able to see the line I'm on, which is kind of what I want to get out of this. So start, then what if I put a breakpoint earlier? In fact, no breakpoints because, yeah, it's just, it breaks itself. Error lane not present. Ugh. Okay. I think I'm too tired for this. I think the question now is, have we made actual progress that's worth keeping? I think so. I don't think this is crazy. I think probably the actual thing to say, maybe the order of these is silly as well. Does that make more sense? Because the pipeline requires that. So we then go drag, breaks in the exact same way. It's hanging. Might be hanging on this step that we didn't fully understand the need for. So you run. We drag. Nah, broken. Super broken. Yeah, I think this is going to take a little bit more carefulness than I feel like doing today. So I think we might leave that with a little comment to say this is broken. I've got a bunch to do's now, don't I? So let's put to do next. The good news is we are very clearly handling resizes. Like, we are calling into our handle resize function. The bad news is, well, the handle resize function then doesn't work and we get into a broken state. Like I say, these early returns I thought would save us, but they seem to just wreck things. Right? Because all of this, we come up here. So yeah, that doesn't seem valuable because that is working. Well, I didn't think this return was needed, right? Because at that point we've resolved the issue, although that's an assumption. So this one should then flip it to be in a state where it's been resolved. The next draw frame call should come in and it sorts itself out. So ensure previous frame is finished before we start. I think that's the move. I think we need to sort out the debug build, and I'm not sure why that's falling over. And then we can see why it is that it's hanging. Sorry, I'm now fully just staring at it. Yeah, okay. We're going to call it there. I think I am too tired for this. Small progress. I guess what we'll call this something like GLFW handle resize callback, something like that. It's more than 0, but it is also broken. Well, that was less fun than I thought it would be. Fingers crossed we'll sort that out next time. So, see you next time.